Hello and welcome to Solidworks Station. My name is Stuart, and in today's tutorial we're going to have a little look at producing this sheet metal work. Now there are a few new things that we need to look at here. We'll be looking at producing a sketch first of all in the front plane, and then from that sketch we'll be looking at producing a base flange and also producing these extruded cuts that run all the way around the sheet metal work. As always, if there's any questions or comments regarding this video, then please feel free to ask in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. The best of luck, and let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is go into File, then New, and Part. We've got on the left hand side here a Features Manager, and we've got a few planes to choose from. Okay, we've got right, top and front. We're going to select the front plane and we're going to click on Normal to. Next we're going to go into the Sketch tab and we're going to produce a circle. Now there are two circles to choose from using the flyout menu, circle and perimeter circle. We're going to choose circle, and this is our origin. Where the two red lines meet, the X and the Y axis, this is known as 0, 0, and it's good practice for engineers, architects, designers to always make sure that they draw from a known reference point. So we're going to draw our circle from this known reference point 0, 0, and we're going to left click, sketch out our circle, and we need to give this now a smart dimension. So I'm going to left click on Smart Dimension, I'm going to left click on the circumference, and I'm going to give this a value of 127.31. That's in millimeters, and green tick. Okay, next I'm going to go over to the line tool, and I'm going to make this for construction. Okay, over here on the Options tab, I'm going to left click again on my origin. I'm going to draw a line, okay, that's 90 degrees from that origin. However, sometimes if you make a mistake and you might go over to the left or to the right and you left click here, this is not a problem and we can straighten this line up. Just press the escape key, left click on the line, and over on the left hand side you'll notice the parameters. Okay, we can see the angle here that we drew it at, and we can change this to 90 degrees and the line will straighten up. There is another way of doing this. Okay, we can left click on the line, and over here on the left hand side there's add relations and vertical. Okay, if we left click on that, which I have done, the line again will straighten up. We need to offset this line then, so we're going to left click on Offset Entities, and we're going to offset this line by 0.5 millimeters. Bidirectional was ticked in that menu, just make sure it is. Otherwise you'll get a line either one side or the other. I'm going to show you that again. So I'm just going to delete this line here on the left and delete this line here on the right, and I'm going to go through that one more time. So offset entities, 0.5 millimeters is in the cell. I left click on the line, and you can see there I've got bidirectional selected, therefore a line appears to the left and the right. If I untick this and put reverse, it'll go to the left, but we're going to select bidirectional as our option. Green tick to confirm. I now need to trim away these two sections here, so I'm going to go to Trim Entities, Trim to Closest, and trim away these 2 points. Zoom out. Perfect. That's looking good. I can delete this line here on the left hand side and delete this line here as well on the right hand side. The construction line that we drew, that can remain in place. There's no need to delete that. Well done. Next stage, we're going to go to the sheet metal tab. We're going to left click on this sheet metal tab here at the top. However, if it doesn't appear and it's not in your menu, it's probably because it's not ticked here. So you needed to right click in order to make that selection. Right click again, left click on sheet metal, and you'll see that it appears in the tabs across the top. So let's go into sheet metal, and we're going to create a base flange tab. So left click here, and at the moment we have it at 10 millimeters. You can see this in direction 1. We're going to change this value, and we're going to put in 50 millimeters. Here, okay, is where you can change the thickness of the sheet metal. So if you put in, for example, 3, it would update to 3 millimeters. You could put in 5, again, it would update to 5 millimeters thickness. However, we're going to keep this at 2 millimeters thick. The bend allowance, the K factor, that is at 0.5 as a default. However, if you've got an equation that is working out at a different value, you can quite easily highlight this, edit it, and change it to a new value. Auto relief can stay the same as rectangular and 0.5. There's no need to change this. Green tick, and there we have it. There is our sheet metal with the diameter placed in. We've gone to the sheet metal tab and we've created a base flange tab of 50 millimeters. Perfect, well done so far. So in the photo, what we can see is we've got these extruded cuts that run all the way around our sheet metal. So we need to produce these. In order to do that, we're going to have to unfold our sheet metal work. So let's go back into SolidWorks, and you'll notice I'm still in the sheet metal tab, and we're looking at flattening or unfolding this base flange that we've done. So I'm going to go up to unfold at the top. I'm going to left click on that, and it's asking me 2 things to fill in on the left hand side. It's asking for a fixed face, and it's asking for the bends to unfold. This is my fixed face, and the bend to unfold, just orbit around and click on this face here. So I've got an edge for the fixed face and a face for the bends to unfold. Green tick. Control 7 on my keyboard, and that will give me a central isometric view of my rectangular piece of metalwork. Perfect. So the next thing I'm going to do is create a center line. So I need to go into sketch. First though, click on here and go normal 2. Another way of doing this is to click on the face we're interested in, left click and press Control 8 on our keyboard, and that face will spin round to face the SolidWorks user. So let's create that center line. I'm going to go to sketch, hit the flyout option and go to center line, and I'm going to produce a center line from this side all the way across to the right hand side. Press escape on my keyboard. I'm going to go back into the sketch tab and choose this straight slot option. Now there are other options hidden beneath this. Straight slot is usually the one that is available by default. However, if we click on the flyout option on the right hand side, we want to choose the center point straight slot. Perfect. Left click on this, zoom in, okay, now to the center of that line, and we're going to drag a line out vertically, left click, move our mouse to the left or to the right, and left click, and press the escape key. We need to change this value, so I've just double clicked it on that particular value. I'm going to change that to 5, double click on this value on the right hand side and change that to 20. Okay, so that's our first sketch done. Close the dialog, and we're going to go to linear sketch pattern. That's in the sketch tab. So linear sketch pattern, entities to pattern. We need to click inside this box, we need to zoom in and click on the purple bit of the sketch. So just left click on this purple bit of the sketch, and you'll notice now populated in that little table there is the line 6, arc 1, arc 2 and line 5. Okay, so it's picked up all parts of this sketch here and it's moved it over to the right hand side. If we wanted to move it to the left hand side, we just click on this reverse direction button and it's moved over to the left hand side with a spacing center to center of 10 millimeters. If we up this, it will move in increments of 10 and down in 10 millimeter increments. If you want more of these to be populated, we can change this number here, so the number of instances, and again we can press on the up arrow and we will get 2, 3, 4 instances of that particular sketch. However, we need this to be at 10 millimeters, so let's move that down to 10, and we're going to need around 20 instances of this pattern. Perfect. Click on the green tick to confirm. Now we've overdefined this sketch, so what we need to do is right click on this dimension and just delete. Okay, and it'll say there that there's no longer any over definition of the sketch. So we're going to go back to linear sketch pattern. This time we're going to click again in the pattern. We're going to click again inside the pink bit of our sketch, and it's moved over now to the right hand side and increase the number of instances to 20, and just ensure that our value says 10 and green tick. Again, we've overdefined, so again right click and press delete. Fantastic. Well done so far. The next step is to go into the sheet metal tab and it's to press on the extruded cut option. And we can see here that we've got lots of different options to choose from. Okay, we've got blind, which is currently set at 10 millimeters. However, if you knew the thickness of the metal, which we do, you could put in the value, for example, in here, such as 2 millimeters, and that would update with the yellow preview on the screen. We could also choose up to next. That would have the same outcome, as would up to surface, spin the model round and left click on the surface beneath it. All these would have the same outcome, and green tick. And there we have it. There's our sheet of metal with all our extruded cuts put in place. However, we need to fold this back into position. So we're in the sheet metal tab, we click on fold. Our edge 1 is already highlighted. If we click on this, it's already highlighted over there on the right hand side. So just to show you, just left click on the left edge and you can see it's in dark blue over here on the right hand side. Bends to fold, I'm going to click on this face again and I'm going to green tick. If we do Control and the number 7 on our keyboard, that'll give us a central view again in an isometric view for us to investigate, have a little look at and see if there's any more modifications that we need to make. So a few things that I'm going to go across now. I'm going to show you how to do a few weldments. So we're going to look at a welded bead across this gap. And I'm also going to look at showing you how to apply materials and how to render as well. So in order to produce this weld, we need to go into the weldments tab here at the top. However, if it's not showing, that's probably because weldments here is not selected. So just right click on the tab, left click on weldments, and you'll notice that weldments tab is available. From here we're going to go to the weld bead, left click, and we're going to change over here in the settings to weld path. We're then going to pick up our path We're going to keep this at 2mm. That should be fine for this example, and green tick. You'll notice here that there is a arrowhead, a leader line, with a notification telling us that it is a 2mm welded bead. We can't see the weld, so we're going to go up to the eye icon at the top, and we're going to press on View Weld Beads. By left clicking on this, it will then show us the bead in place. Okay, let's apply some materials to this. So I'm going to go to the Appearances, Scenes and Decals button on the right hand side, and I'm going to pick up nickel. However, when you first open this, all these will be closed down like so. Okay, so just to show you what it looks like when you first open up this particular icon. We're going to go into Appearances, we're going to select Metal, we're going to go to Nickel, and let's choose, for example, a brushed nickel coarse material. We're going to drag that and drop it on to the model and ensure to choose body from these options. Okay, next we're going to show you how to render, so make sure you've got the Solidworks add-ons tab available. If you haven't, again, right click and just ensure that it's ticked in this list here, and ensure that Photo View 360 is turned on. We're going to go into the render tools. We don't need to edit the appearance because we've already applied the nickel to our piece of work, but we can edit the scene. So we're going to go into Edit Scene. Lots of scenes available, Basic, Studio, etc. We're going to go to the Basic scene, we're going to scroll down, and we're going to choose Backdrop Lightbox Studio. Click up here at the final render, or if you want to, you can change some of these options here from the lighting options. You've got things such as the brightness, rendering brightness, the scene reflectivity, lots of things that you can change in this particular settings box on the left hand side. We've got some advanced tabs such as the floor size, rotation, width, depth and rotation, and we've got some basic options that we can choose to modify as well, such as the offset of the floor, things like that. Green tick, and we're going to go up to final render. Ensure that render without dimensions and annotations is the one that we choose, and this will make sure that this welding annotation is eliminated from the final render. Perfect, and there we go, there's our final render. I have left that to run for a few minutes in order for it to finalize, but it looks quite good. I'm pleased with it. So let's just have a little bit of a recap around the things that we've learnt today at Solidworks Station. We've learnt things such as the sheet metal tab, how to make sure that that's in place. We've looked at the base flange option and how to use that to create our sheet metal work, as well as how to unfold and how to fold the sheet metal work back into place. We've looked at extruded cut and how to produce these extruded cuts using the center point straight slot option in the sketch tab. We've also looked at things such as weldments, so we've been in the weldments tab. We've looked at welded beads and how to place these into position, and we've also looked at how to apply materials to this part. We've looked at the Solidworks add-ins tab, Photo View 360 and final rendering options within Solidworks. So that concludes this episode of Solidworks Station. Thank you all very much for listening. If you've got any questions or comments, as always, leave those below and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again for another episode of Solidworks Station, where we'll hopefully learn some new skills. Thank you very much and goodbye.